Doggy Bag. Story by Carl Otto. The neon lights of the rusty nail flickered in the puddles left by the evening rain. Anna stood under the bar's awning, her arms crossed tightly over her chest, more from the chill in the air than nerves. She glanced at her watch, 11:45 p.m. It had been a long night, filled with laughter, drinks, and the intoxicating rush of a night out. "So," Mark said, sliding up next to her. At 6'2", he towered over her 5'4" frame. "I had a great time tonight." Anna looked up at him, a warm smile on her lips. "Me too." "It's been unexpected," Mark chuckled, his deep voice sending a shiver down her spine. "Unexpected good, I hope." "Definitely good," Anna replied, then bit her lip, hesitating. "Listen, I don't usually do this, but would you like to come back to my place for a nightcap?" Mark's eyes lit up, a grin spreading across his face. "I'd love to." As they walked to Anna's house, Mark kept close to her, his hand occasionally brushing against hers. Anna looked like she was enjoying the attention, even as a small voice in the back of her mind urged caution. "So, tell me more about your work," she asked, breaking the silence. Mark shrugged, his broad shoulders rolling under his jacket. "Not much to tell. Corporate finance isn't exactly thrilling conversation." "Oh, come on," Anna teased. "There must be some excitement in all those numbers." Mark laughed, the sound echoing in the quiet street. "Well, there was that time I found a discrepancy in the quarterly report that saved the company millions." "Does that count as exciting?" She grinned up at him. "Look at you, Mr. Superhero Accountant." "Yeah, well," Mark said, his tone suddenly boastful. "The boss practically begged me to take a promotion after that, but I turned it down. Didn't want the extra responsibility, you know?" Anna's smile faltered slightly, but she quickly recovered. "That's interesting. I would have thought you'd jump at the opportunity." They arrived at Anna's house, a modest 2-story in a quiet neighborhood. As Anna fumbled with her keys, Mark stood behind her, close enough that she could feel the heat radiating from his body. "Nice place," he murmured, his breath warm on her neck. Anna suppressed a shiver as she pushed the door open. Immediately, deep, rumbling barks filled the air. "Whoa!" Mark exclaimed, taking a step back as 2 large Rottweilers came bounding towards the door. "Buddy, Bosco, down puppies," she commanded, her voice firm but affectionate. The dogs stopped short of the threshold, tail nubs wagging with excitement. "Sorry about that," she said, turning to Mark with an apologetic smile. "They're very protective, but they're big softies once they get to know you." Mark eyed the dogs warily. "They're huge. Are you sure they're friendly?" Anna laughed, reaching down to scratch behind Buddy's ears. "Of course. They're my babies. Wouldn't hurt a fly unless I was in danger." She ushered Mark inside, then turned to the dogs. "Buddy, Bosco, go to your room. Mommy has a guest." With a final curious look at Mark, the Rottweilers trotted off down the hallway. Anna closed their door shortly after. "Their room?" Mark asked, raising an eyebrow. Anna shrugged, smiling. "They're part of the family. They deserve their own space." Mark nodded, a slight frown on his face. "Have you considered getting them fixed? Might calm them down a bit." Anna's smile faltered for a moment. "Oh, I've thought about it, but there are health concerns with neutering large breeds too early. My vet recommended waiting until they're fully grown." Mark nodded, though he didn't look entirely convinced. "I see. Well, I guess you know what's best for them. I just figured they'd be better behaved if they were neutered." Anna's face showed appreciation for his attempt at understanding, even if she sensed a hint of skepticism in his tone. "They're really well behaved once they get to know you," she added, hoping to make him more comfortable. He stepped closer to Anna, towering over her again. "Now, how about that nightcap?" In the kitchen, Anna took a moment to collect herself. She could hear Mark moving around in the living room, the floorboards creaking under his weight. Taking a deep breath, She grabbed 2 wine glasses and a bottle of red. When she returned, she found Mark studying the photos on her mantelpiece. His brow furrowed slightly as he lingered on one particular image. As she entered, he quickly turned, a forced smile not quite reaching his eyes. "You have a lovely home," he said, taking the glass she offered. "Are you here alone?" Anna nodded, settling onto the couch. "Just me and the fur babies." Mark sat next to her, closer than she expected. Their thighs brushed, and Anna felt a flutter in her stomach. "Must get lonely," Mark murmured. His eyes intensely met hers. She took a sip of wine, shaking her head. "Not really. I like my independence. Plus, I'm always busy with work, friends, hobbies, and of course the puppies." "What kind of hobbies?" Mark asked, seeming genuinely interested. Anna's eyes lit up. "Oh, I love to read, hike, and I'm getting really good at cooking. I'm even making Bosco and Buddy's food from scratch. Real meat and everything." Mark nodded, though his eyes had glazed over slightly. "That's nice," he said, clearly uninterested. His hand found her knee, his touch warm through the thin fabric of her dress. "But I can think of more fun things we could be doing." Anna laughed nervously, taking another sip of wine. "Well, the night's still young. Tell me more about you. What do you like to do outside of work?" Mark shrugged, his fingers tracing idle patterns on her knee. "Oh, you know, gym, sports, hanging out with the guys. Nothing too exciting." Anna nodded, though privately she felt a pang of disappointment. She'd hoped for more. Depth, perhaps, or at least a hint of something beyond the surface. "Independence is great and all," Mark said, his voice low. "But everyone needs someone, right?" Anna forced a laugh. "I suppose. But I'm not exactly pining away here." Mark's smile widened. "Well, a beautiful woman like you must have no shortage of admirers." Anna's cheeks flushed in response to the compliment. "Oh, you'd be surprised. I don't really date much." Mark leaned in, his large frame close to hers. "Well, I'm flattered to have made the cut." As Mark moved closer, a sudden burst of barking came from down the hall. Anna jumped slightly, but Mark seemed unfazed. "Sounds like your guard dogs are on high alert," he chuckled, his arms snaking around her shoulders. Anna laughed nervously. "They're probably just excited. They'll settle down soon." The barking continued, more insistent now. Anna felt a twinge of unease, but Mark's proximity was intoxicating. "You know," he murmured, his lips close to her ear. "I've been thinking about this all night." Anna's breath caught in her throat. "Oh," she managed, her voice barely above a whisper. Mark's free hand came up to cup her cheek, turning her face towards his. "You're so beautiful," he breathed, leaning in. Their lips met, and Anna found herself in the moment. The dog's barking faded into the background as Mark deepened the kiss. The night wasn't too late, and was full of possibilities, some thrilling, some dangerous, and some yet to be revealed. As their kiss deepened, Anna felt a mixture of excitement and unease. Mark's hands began to roam, his touch becoming more insistent. She pulled back slightly, trying to catch her breath. "Mark," she said, her voice slightly shaky. "Maybe we should slow down a bit." Mark's eyes flashed with frustration, or was it anger? It was gone so quickly Anna wasn't sure she'd seen it at all. He smiled, but again it seemed forced, fake even. "Come on, Anna," he said, his voice low and persuasive. "We're both adults here. You invited me back for a reason, right?" Anna's cheeks continued to flush. "For a nightcap and conversation," she said firmly. "Not this." Mark sighed, running a hand through his hair. All right. How about another drink then? To calm our nerves." Anna hesitated, then nodded. "Sure, I'll get it." No, Mark said, standing quickly. "Allow me. It's the least I can do after being so forward." Before she could protest, Mark had scooped up both their glasses and headed for the kitchen. Anna sank back into the couch, her mind racing. The charming, funny man from the bar seemed to have vanished, replaced by someone else. Someone who made her skin crawl.